2019 midweek edition on Nigeria Info 99.3, where we feature all the big and significant issues on the road to the 2019 elections. Remember, you can follow the program on Twitter at Countdown2019NG and myself at Rotimi Sankore on Twitter. You can send us your tweets at the station handle while we're on air at Nigeria Info FM. With me today, as she will be every Wednesday, legal practitioner Ayo Bay, to talk about the IDEAS program: integrity, democracy, ethics, and accountability. Welcome, Ayo.
Hello, Rotimi.
Okay. So our big focus today on the IDEAS segment of the program, as well as the bigger countdown, is Osun elections. And first on the line will be Clement Nwankwo, also a legal practitioner and coordinator of the Civil Society Situation Room. Clement will be joining us shortly.
That's what I was trying to say, that I have how Clement wanted to be introduced. So that's when you said no, you were introducing me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
when he's on,
Yeah.
you welcome him.
Okay.
Introduce them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is he connected?
Okay, Rotimi, you remember that last week I said that on the IDEAS program, we're not just going to be talking about theoretical things, but we're going to try and be topical because, as you said, things are happening in the electoral process in Nigeria. And the theme of the moment is what's happening in Osun State. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have as a guest on the program Clement Nwankwo Esquire. He's the Executive Director of the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC, and he's also the convener of Nigeria's Civil Society Situation Room. And they've been monitoring the whole electoral process in Osun State. So, Clement, welcome to IDEAS.
I don't think we have him yet. Okay, we don't have Clement yet. He will be joining us as soon as we can sort out the technical problems. But what we want to discuss with Clement is the extent to which corruption issues or the perception of same has played a part in the decisions made by voters in the Osun State elections. There's been all the talk about vote buying, vote selling, vote inducement by the government, policies, e.g. the trader money. And I remember that last week a lot of listeners complained that the trader money, even if it is a legitimate policy, which it is, should have been held off in Osun State.
Yeah, I think that, as I said, for the IDEAS program, there are two aspects to it. One is that when voters are deciding how they want to vote, are they thinking about issues related to integrity, accountability, in the context of corruption? Because I would say that the question of how money has been spent in a state, particularly a state which has gotten a little bit of a reputation for not paying salaries, is a very live issue. Whether these accountability issues are going to be were features in what made people decide how they wanted to vote. And then there's also the question of the integrity of the electoral process itself, and that's where issues related to vote buying and so on, things like that come in. Now, of course, there was a lot of skepticism about the decision by...
I think we have Clement now.
Oh, okay. Clement, can I say welcome to the IDEAS program again?
Thank you, Ayo.
Hello, Clement. Thank you for joining us. This is Rotimi. Fine, thank you. And well done on your fantastic work in Osun.
Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So what we really wanted to, we don't have a lot of time on this idea segment, so I'm going to cut straight to the chase, Clement, and that is in connection. There are two aspects, as I was saying, to the integrity, accountability, democracy, and ethics issues in Osun State. And the first is that were voters really concerned about those issues and corruption when they were deciding who they were going to vote for, or was it just this is our man from our town or whatever? Was it identity or was it integrity?
I think the people who were voting ADC were not necessarily looking at the issues. We try to find having as a candidate have manifested.
Clement, I hope you meant Osun State.
Sorry,
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
we try to find out how many of these candidates even have manifestos for the elections, and it was difficult to see their manifestos. I think a lot of voters who were voting for various reasons. One, because they expected some incentives. Two, because they have an identification with a particular candidate, either for family reasons or affinity in terms of geography of origin of the candidate or indeed party affiliation. But certainly, I think that the issue of competence of the candidate, integrity, or even issues of anti-corruption were not the prime reasons people were voting in Osun State.
Well, we're going to have to work to at least raise the profile of those issues and bring them up the agenda. But you did mention the question of vote buying, and that goes to the other aspect of whether the electoral process itself is free of corruption. Because, as you remember, the Independent National Electoral Commission had come out with the instruction that there were not to be allowed cameras or mobile phones inside the voting booth. And many people felt that, oh, this was meaningless, that how are they going to monitor? But it seems as though parties were still trying to pay money. In a way, we are kind of urging the voters to be a little bit devious and take the money, because nobody can check what happens in the privacy of the voting booth if you're not allowed to take pictures of what you did. To what extent was that featuring in the election, do you think?
I think now mentioning goodbye that elections, I think that there were still candidates and supporters who paid voters in the hope that those voters would vote for them. I think it was a little bit more difficult to be able to have people provide evidence that they actually voted for those who paid them money. But that's still true of the candidates who paid money in the hope that the voters would, in conscience, after collecting money, vote for them. The issue of vote buying is a major issue in the electoral system, and also the issue of electoral officials.
Yes, that was the other aspect.
Because they have received incentives to do so. I think it's a major issue in the electoral system and needs to work to bring this to an end, either by advocacy or by better law enforcement that brings people to account for these offenses.
But Clement, because everything is being done in the open, how easy is it for election officials or INEC officials to actually corrupt the voting process?
I think a couple of things could happen. One being, of course, guiding voters in terms of how the vote where the officials are placed. What to do with ballot papers, unused ballot papers at the end of polling is always a problem, because where the agents of parties are not vigilant, they could be thumbprinted for a favored political party.
Yes.
add an extra zero for a particular candidate or remove a zero in front to give an unfavored candidate. So all of these are ways in which corruption of electoral process manifests and in which electoral officials but also voters act out when they have received their equipment for voting.
So, to what extent then do things like having the results posted by INEC at its headquarters count, or is it really down to any party that doesn't want to be cheated, making sure that it has an agent at each polling station, and how?
I think that any candidate who is serious about running elections have to have trusted and well-trained agents, poll agents via the polling day, even before polling day, on the eve of polling, accompanying voting materials, what they call sensitive voting materials, to location, watching and seeing the distribution of these materials, but also on polling day, having those agents monitor the voting process, monitor the turnout and how voters conduct themselves, and be there when the polls have closed and the ballot papers are being counted and the party results being computed. Following it up to the last stage of collation. That's the major step in checking the poll trail.
Yeah. I guess lastly, Clement, the Situation Room, of course, had its election monitors, or are you still obliged to call them election observers? But you had people out monitoring the process. How do you think that the civil society role works to enhance integrity, accountability in the electoral process?
I think election observers, local or Nigerian observers and international observers are very critical players in the process. Their presence, especially when you have unbiased observers, their presence acts as a check on the use of the process by election officials, candidates, security officials, and so on. I think that there is a need for increased numbers of observers. There is a need for observers to be well trained to look out what they look for, what they should look out for, and alert where there is a need to do so. I do not think that election observers fill the gap of polling agents. So
No.
parties must know that they need to train polling agents who are trusted to represent them rather than rely on observers.
Okay, Clement, I have a question regarding the inconclusive elections as declared by INEC. Is there any intersection with corruption of any kind? The Situation Room observers see anything that would suggest that corruption intersected with the voting process that led to the cancellation of votes in all those 7 centers?
Well, I think that it's something that I have to be very careful about. The Situation Room, we know that INEC has what is called the e-collation platform, which enables it to receive results from polling units directly even before collation is concluded at the registration areas at one level, which means that INEC, using that electronic
Thanks, Clement. Now, there was a specific INEC official that we all saw on television, and I'm sure you saw him too, that was arrested, and he claimed that one of his superiors asked him to substitute a sheet that had results. Is that the one that INEC has issued a clarification about, saying that there was an error on that sheet, and that's what he was asked to correct?